everyone, today I want to show you a book which I very recently ordered on Amazon. So this is something different in the sense of art making, especially now during this time when sometimes we just don't have the time for painting, getting our brushes out, getting the paints out, setting things up. I find collaging a very helpful way of being creative and getting that sort of inspiration going. So this is a great book for basically using the pages as a collage instruments. So it's called Extraordinary Things to Cut Out and Collage. It's by Rivans. It has over 1,500 images, so it is packed. And the other thing that's great, it's the paper. The paper is great for collaging. So here's a little example that was done using some of the bits and pieces from this book, and it retails for $16.99. I think I got it a slightly cheaper on Amazon as always, and yeah, it's really fun. So let me just give you a flip through, and you can see what's inside. The paper is great. It's like a really sort of, you know, good quality, like a magazine paper, but it has that smoothness to it. So it's not matte and it's not glossy, but it's got that kind of nice touch, which I really like for collaging. And if you like a sort of a full-on matte look, you could always go over with matte medium. I think it's called matte medium, is it? I'm trying to find it on my desk and I can't find that. Tim Holtz little jar that is great to use as adhesive, like, you know, glue, but also for collages. So this is totally my thing of creating crowns out of all sorts of things and images, and create a little story, and just yeah, I mean, there's so much interest once you start looking into things and seeing what is going on here, and obviously layering images in a way that makes things look layered but beautiful, so it's not just randomly sticking pieces. So let's look at the book. So there is some introduction to some artists, and then I guess there's a little bit on the supplies that are commonly used when you're doing collaging, but really all you need is a pair of scissors and some glue, and you know, that's really it. So there you go. It gives you a few tips of how to do collaging in a kind of good way. So you probably, if you want, what you could do is either cut things out by with scissors, and for that I would really highly recommend the Tim Holtz scissors. I'm just trying to get them out here. So these they are fantastic. They have a little edge to them, which basically grips onto the paper really nicely, and it makes things easier to cut. So, but the other way you can do that as well is with X-Acto knife and a cutting mat. So you place the cutting mat underneath the page that you want to cut out, and then use X-Acto knife to go over the images. So there's a number of things you can do, or collage. And then also I can see there's a little tip here. So this is what I tend to do. You need to think a little bit of what you want to achieve. So for instance, if there is a hand which has a palm on it, so like here for instance, but you want to place an image, you know that it would look better if you cut that bit lower to kind of make it look like this image is sitting right on the palm. So yeah, just a few little tips like that, and then it kind of has step-by-step tutorial here of finishing the entire image, and that's also very useful if you have never tried and are completely new to it. So that's that, and then you then finally dive into a lot of images that you can use. For inspiration, there are some works here in which you can look at how things have been layered and why. Okay, so then it starts here, Directory of Extraordinary Things. It has some lovely vintage images, quite a lot of them. So if you are into vintage, this would be great. Some images are quite quirky and have an interesting style to them. I'll just give you a quick look. So some of the images have that sort of Tim Holtz black and white kind of vintage type of a look to them. So some people, then we have some children, we've got like things like this. It's a lovely mixture. I think you could find anything here that you'd be interested in. And then we have sort of heads and faces, and more kind of detail into eyes and lips that you can individually cut out and just kind of, you know, create those kind of funky looking faces. One thing I want to pay attention towards is around the images there is a off-white trim, and you can cut with that, or you can go straight onto the image and leave that out. I quite like leaving that bit of space around the images. I'll just show you an example from my sketchbook. Right, so basically, as an example, sometimes I like to cut around the image, as you can see here. It all depends what sort of background it is. If it's too busy, then I might sort of cut it off and just have the image itself. If it is kind of one-dimensional, I might add it, but you can see like here, for instance, that works because of the pattern that goes in with that. Here I left a nice bit of an outline. Then I also go into angular type of collages as well, depending what image it could be, etc. So there's again outline. So generally I do like an outline, even around these kind of flowers. You can see the typical, this is just a sticker, but it has that outline as well. And then I'm just trying to think if I have an example somewhere here. So here, for instance, I just cut out sort of rectangular shapes, and they just are the shapes. So there is no outline there. And these images have no outline. Here's a mixture, bit of an outline with no outline in these areas, as you can see. Again, outline over here, and this is just a different style, but again an outline on this image. So it really depends how you prefer things. Have a try, but the main aspect is I just wanted to show you what you have inside. So you have some famous artists' work as well, and you have comics and that type of pop art kind of style, cars, boats, airplanes, some really vintage food pictures, which is like from the cookbooks of the, I'd say, 50s and 60s. My mom had a cookbook from her auntie, and that had really interesting looking food there as well. So then we have toys and furniture pieces with some lovely plants, cats, dogs, animals. My favorite here are the fruits and the food items and flowers. Look at that, beautiful colors, palm trees, cacti. So it's got a lovely range of things. You could do cityscapes, you could do all sorts of things. Here, page for cat lovers. This is my favorite dog, French bulldogs. Okay, so here we go, cats and all that. And let's have a little more flip. Loads of animals, loads of different fish. Look at that, isn't that beautiful with the corals and everything? Seashells. They did a great job of finding the styles that really work together. And then at the end you have like a full page of the same image. So what you could do is, like you saw in the beginning of the book, which was, that looks to me like Elizabeth Taylor. Is that Elizabeth Taylor? And then here the feathers are cut out and it almost looks like real feathers. So you could use these feathers, like I said, in this case there was no outline here, so you can cut them out without the outline to create that sort of realistic look. In fact, all of these are done without the outline. And then we have butterflies, we have geranium flowers, which are lovely, gems, and then some larger images that you can cut out. And then also like a full page that you could build, like you could cut it out and you can build your collage inside that. So that's a seashell, obviously. Bowl of soup, so you can have like this sort of pop art. Imagine the bowl of soup with like loads of things maybe walking around it or sticking out of that bowl of soup. So you can be really creative and do things. Big nice cat that you can create, also a layout with like smaller people around it, or little images. Where was it? Here, for instance, like little village houses and that sort of thing. Make it look like a giant cat. And fish tank, this one is quite cool, a skull, some tree branches and larger images. So that's the hand. You can create a lovely, so this is the bit that can be cut out like that, and you can nestle things in onto the palm and make it look like it's a palm holding things. And then some sort of vintage postcard images, and then larger images as well. And it is just fantastic. Some beautiful iconic actresses that you can really work with and create lovely sort of colorful, you know, crowns and things like that, as we saw in this image again here. So the actual picture is black and white, but then you have all this sort of colorfulness going on around it. That's also adds a lovely contrast. So great thing to do. I can't wait to cut into it. In fact, I was really tempted to do it last night, but decided to film this review for you first. So thanks for watching and see you soon.